Next game is the Rams and the Cardinals. This was a really interesting one. The Rams beat the crap out of the Cardinals 37-14. Matthew Stafford was super productive, 25 of 33, 229 yards, 4 touchdowns, 1 interception. He also had a carry for 2 yards. Matthew Stafford, you could do worse than him, like Baker Mayfield sort of level, Gardner Minshew level of production here. Interesting that even in a game where Puka Nacua and Cooper Kupp were both terrible, Matthew Stafford could still be amazing, and his team could still score 37 points. And that's because they did whatever they wanted on the ground in this one. Kyren Williams, 16 carries, 143 yards. He also had 6 catches for 61 yards and 2 receiving touchdowns. Play Kyren Williams no matter what the matchup is. He could be playing the worst or the best defense possible. Worst for him, but the best rushing defense possible, like the Eagles, for example. Play Kyren Williams. It doesn't matter what the matchup is. Lock him into your running back spot. Don't ever move him from there. Royce Freeman, 13 carries, 77 yards, and a rushing touchdown. Interesting that he had the rushing touchdown. No receiving work in this one, similar to how it was with Henderson in the lineup. Freeman still wasn't getting receiving work. So I wouldn't say that he's an ad outside of something happening to Kyren Williams. Zach Evans also had 3 carries for 6 yards. Tutu Atwell was the leading receiver. Don't expect this very often. 3 catches, 76 yards on 3 targets. I still don't think Atwell is an ad unless something were to happen to Nacua or Cooper Kupp. Tyler Higbee, 5 catches, 29 yards, 2 receiving touchdowns. This was his best game of the year. I don't think he is an ad after this performance, unless you're super desperate at tight end and you want to play the matchups with him. Puka Nacua, only 4 catches, 27 yards, 8 targets. Still, you want to play Puka. It's really weird what's going on right now because Cooper Kupp only had 3 catches for 18 yards on 5 targets. He's really struggling right now. They are not the lineup blocks that they look like they were at the beginning of this season, especially Nacua. Hold off if you have better options. Like if you're just loaded at receiver, I wouldn't work Cooper Kupp in for a little bit until he starts to get things back on track. If you're in a spot where Kupp is by far the best name you have at receiver, I still think you got to play him every week. But this is not good at all. Kupp has been really struggling here, and it just doesn't make sense because Matthew Stafford to Cooper Kupp is one of the best combinations we've seen, but for some reason they just aren't clicking this year. I think it's still going to happen at some point this season because it just doesn't make sense that Cooper Kupp and Matthew Stafford could be this off base, but still something to be concerned about, absolutely, because these last 5 games have been totally miserable for Kupp. Demarcus Robinson, 2 catches for 13 yards. Davis Allen, the tight end from Clemson, had a catch for 6, and Ben Skoranek just the 1 catch for -1. For the Cardinals, Kyler Murray was 27 of 45, 256 yards, a touchdown, no interceptions. He also had 1 carry for 2 yards and a rushing touchdown. His floor is so high. I think Kyler Murray is absolutely someone you want to plug into your lineup. Just keep him there. He is a lineup lock at quarterback as of now. James Conner, he's put together some really disappointing performances since he's come back from injury. 6 carries, 27 yards. He also had 4 catches for 5 yards. Worry about the matchups a little bit more with him. I thought he'd be more productive than this, more of the lead dog than this, because Michael Carter almost matching his number of carries. 4 carries, 19 yards. Also had 4 catches for 15. Michael Carter is absolutely someone we want to keep an eye on. He just got to this team, and he's already taking carries away from James Conner. Definitely something to be concerned about for Conner managers with how slow he's gotten off to since coming back from that injury. Emari Demercado, very safe drop. 3 carries for 15 yards for him. Blake Gillikin had a carry for 10, and Kyler Murray just the 1 carry for 2 and a touchdown. Hollywood Brown getting him back on track. Finally, it was bound to happen. Like we were saying earlier with the Matthew Stafford to Cooper Kupp, it just has to happen at some point. Kyler Murray connecting with Hollywood Brown, they're very close. It had to happen at some point, and finally we got it. 6 catches, 88 yards on 12 targets. Play Hollywood Brown in your lineups. There's going to be more of this year for sure. These two have a really special connection going back to college. Trey McBride, 7 catches for 60 yards on 9 targets. As long as Zach Ertz is out, just keep Trey McBride in your tight end spot. Don't worry about the matchup with him. Rondale Moore had 2 catches for 35. Greg Dortch putting together some interesting games here. 3 catches, 27 yards, and a touchdown on 9 targets. tying Trey McBride for targets here. Definitely keep an eye on Dortch. I just wouldn't go adding him just yet because I would think Rondale Moore is going to get more looks here. I don't think that they necessarily want to have Dortch gain the ball this much, but this is back-to-back games of really impressive target share. Elijah Higgins had a catch for 26. Michael Carter adding the 4 catches for 15, and James Conner had the 4 catches for 5.